Get that angle right. That's right. Gotta get the good lighting. Hi guys! Welcome back to StarrSoap's channel. How are you today? I'm doing good. Do you like my crazy multicolored bird's nest? I'm talking about my hair. Today I'm going to be making a batch of rose and a batch of lavender soaps. That's right. So come along with me and I'll show you how I make them. Squee! So it's more of those wholesale soaps that I was talking about in a couple of my other videos recently. Little soaps that were ordered to go into a shop and they had to be at a certain wholesale price, and I couldn't offer my large bars at that price, so I've been making these little tiny short bars. And you get 2 for 1 in today's video. I'm doing lavender first and then I'm going to go on to making rose. So I'm just adding my cooled lye to my cooled oils, and I've also got goat's milk in there already, and I always add the goat's milk frozen to my warm oils, and I mix it all into the oils and let everything cool down to room temperature before I start soaping. So I'm going to be using my lovely white lavender cotton fragrance. I absolutely love it. It smells so good. And I've got some purple berries mica mixed up here. And I'm also going to be fluffing around with some different colorant. So that will be interesting. No spoilers. So I'm just adding the fragrance now and stirring it in with the spatula rather than using the stick blender, so that I don't end up bringing it to too thick of a trace. I don't want it to be too much like pudding. It needs to be nice and thin, more like soup kind of a trace, so that I can do all the fun little swirls and designs that I want to do. So I'm portioning off some of the soap now to be coloured purple, and just making sure I don't lose any of that precious soap batter around the edges there. And I'm actually going to mix up my colorant to try to get just the right shade of purple that I'm thinking of in my mind. So I'm adding a bit of titanium dioxide into the base like I usually do, to bring that up to a more of a white color, which I think will help to make the two colors stand alone, so that you've got your nice white soap and then you've got your colorant. And I always mix my titanium dioxide with my stick blender, because I've found that if I just mix it with the spatula, then I can get little speckles of titanium dioxide that haven't fully incorporated into the soap batter, and that is not a good look. So that's why the stick blender came out again. So now I'm just using my spatula to stir in the colorant and making sure to really scrape up off the bottom of the jug here. We don't want the colorant to be left at the bottom, so that the last little bit that we pour out is brightly coloured. But I'm not happy with how it turns out, so I take a little bit of this red oxide that I had pre-mixed in water, all ready to go for the next batch, which is the rose. And unfortunately when I add it, I realised that I have made this colorant too red and I wanted it more purpley, so here goes some more blue mica, and the blue mica is not mixing in that well with the spatula, so I'm using my little mini mixer or my little whisk thing here just to try to get that blue to mix in better. I kind of essentially end up with sort of a mauve, I guess. It's not exactly what I was going for, but it's going to have to do now. I can always add, but I can't take away. So this is the colour that this lavender soap is going to be. And at least it's not that red now that I've added that blue. It's made it a bit more purpley, hasn't it? So everything's going to get a mix with the spatulas, make sure it's still nice and fluid, and then we pour it into the mould. And I've been really stressed out trying to make all these soaps. It was like more work than I've ever done before. It really made me kind of have a lot more respect, I guess you might say, for some of these other soapers that I watch on YouTube and that I follow on Facebook and stuff, because they're always making these massive batches and heaps of soap all at once, and I don't know how they do it. So my hat's off to people like Katie White, Claire Lynn Pistorius, Sarah Milroy, Clyde probably as well, even Teach. Kathy McGuinness from Soaping 101. She has to make heaps and heaps of soaps as well, and it is not easy. Like when you're just doing it for fun and you're making a few little batches because it's fun for yourself, it's all good. But when you suddenly realise, oh, I need to make this many and I need to get it done, it suddenly becomes a bit stressful. And I was like, I need an employee, man, because I can't do this all on my own. I need some help. And I'm sure so many of you that watch me would have loved to have come and helped me, and I would have had your help as well. I was busy messaging all my friends and saying, can you come around and help me, or at least talk to me while I have to do all this soap? And most of my friends were like, sorry, I'm too busy with my own life. And that's fair enough too. Life's kind of like that. So I've done in my hanger swirl, and now I'm doing my little line of purpley soap along the top, and I'm giving it a little bit of a swirly top, but I'm also going to put some pretty toppers on because I love my toppers. Isn't it beautiful? The final flourish was a few little dried lavender buds that I actually got from a lavender bush that I've got at my house, so that's nice. So the next batch we're doing is the rose geranium. This lavender and this rose, they're both super popular soaps. So if you're trying to sell your soaps and you're finding that your fragrances that you're using aren't working, really try to find a good true lavender scent and a good true rose scent. Both of these soaps, whenever I take them to markets and stuff, people always come up like, do you have any lavender soap? Do you have any rose soap? Always. It's a winner every single time. So there's a little insider tip there for you guys. So I'm going to follow the exact same kind of an idea as we did before, except it's going to be red oxide as, you know, red for the accent colour and white for the base colour, just like we did before. And once again, there's goat's milk in this. I put goat's milk in all of these soaps that I did for this wholesale order. Goat's milk soap is super popular. It's super creamy and extra nourishing on your skin. And it seems to be, I mean, I don't want to call it a fad because it's been around for a long time and people still love it. But it's one of those things that people quite often ask me, does your soap have goat's milk in it? Or do you have any soaps with goat's milk in them? So when this guy contacted me about this wholesale order, that was one of my first questions. I'm like, do you want goat's milk in them? And he's like, yes. So every single one of these wholesale order soaps has goat's milk in it. Sorry, vegans, not for you. Kind of a bit sad. That's one thing I do find that I'm often kind of in debate with myself about, because I do want to offer my vegan line like I've always been able to offer, and that one has no silk and no beeswax and no honey and no anything that comes from an animal or an insect, because the vegans won't have it. So, you know, doing these goat's milk soaps, I was really excited and I love doing it and I'll use it because I'm not vegan, but it sort of feels bad because I'm like, oh, but what about the vegans? And I used to be able to cater to them. So that's going to be something that I'm going to work on in the future. I'm going to make sure that I do have my goat's milk soaps, and I also have my lovely vegan soap line that's all good for vegans, because, you know, everyone deserves pampering, right? So we're going to go ahead and pour this soap in the mold and hang a swirl and do all the things that we just did before, except this one gets different toppers. Ooh. funny how a hot day made a difference in that rose soap. I'm not sure if you noticed it when I was pouring it in the mold, but I did. It was kind of chunky. And again, that's because of these rose and florals. You've got to watch them. And if you've got a hot room or you're soaping hot, they can curdle and they can go lumpy and all sorts of things can happen. But when I cut these soaps, which you'll see in a minute, they came out just beautifully. So nothing to worry about. Alright, well normally I leave it overnight, but this is actually about midnight that night. These soaps were ready to be cut and I needed those molds so I could keep making. Because I actually only have 4 molds and I needed to make 10 soaps. So I needed to clean them molds so I could use them again. So here I am in the middle of the night cutting my soap like some crazy night owl, getting it all ready to go for this massive wholesale order, which I cannot complain because it's something I have dreamed of having for probably the last 4 to 5 years of doing this. Wow, those swirls are kind of like 2 scary eyes or something. Oh my gosh, they look really cool, but it's a bit spooky. Yeah, so as I was saying, I've wanted to have a wholesale order. I've looked at other people that seem to be doing really, really well and having a lot of success, and I'm like, I want that too. And then once the success comes, it's like, oh, this is hard work. So hey, as we know, the grass is always greener. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut these 2 soaps because we have to see what these swirls look like. Squee! I'm really, really excited at how that lavender swirls come out. Isn't it funny how just like they're always different, just like exact same soaps that were made right after each other on the same day, same temperatures, and they're different. And that's something that I want you guys to bear in mind. Things are always different, okay? Just because it worked like that for me, it might not work like that for you, and if it works like that for you, it might not work like that for me. So here are some silly little videos. They were actually posted on my Snapchat, so I thought I'd grab them and put them in the video as well, of the soaps in the mold, and then also the cut bars, and finally of the beautiful gift packages and stuff at the shop where this wholesale order went to. I love what they did. I'm so excited to see my products displayed so professionally. So this week I'd like to highlight Jenny Lynn Fendley and her gorgeous rose soap that she shared in our group StarrSoaps Family over on Facebook. I am in love with those colours and the way they are swirled together, and I adore her setup for her photos, the way that she's laid out those flowers and stuff. Gorgeous! So thank you, Jenny Lynn, for sharing your beautiful soap with us. And if you'd like your photo to be highlighted, everyone else, please come along and join our group on StarrSoaps Family on Facebook and share your creations because I love to see them. If you enjoyed this video, you want to see more like it, then please hit that subscribe button, become a member of our StarrSoaps family, and feel the soapy love.